Next, we will hear from Larry Rush. Larry, are you mentally available here?
I'm available and ready to go.
Okay,
I don't know if
great.
I can follow Mary so well, but I'll try my best.
Let me just tell people about you. Larry is an energy efficiency professional and the HES program administrator at United Illuminating. He's had 10 years of experience in all these matters. He holds multifamily, building analyst, and building envelope certifications from BPI, from the Building Performance Institute. He also holds a degree in human development and family studies from UConn. He has advanced various initiatives with state or federal funding, including the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, the Connecticut Healthy Homes Program, the Weatherization Assistance Program, and most recently Energize CT. So in these programs, Larry has been worn different hats. He's been an auditor, he's been an inspector, an administrator, and a supervisor. He specializes in multifamily and single-family housing stock. He has worked within the low-income residential sector, as well as in the market rate sector for nonprofits and small businesses. So we are delighted that Larry, despite the possibility that he may be called away for storm damage duty any minute, he will present the generous new Energize CT offerings that are now available to Connecticut residents. This is all United Illuminating and Eversource customers. These benefits will be available at least through the end of the year. So Larry, tell us about all the new goodies that are available.
Well, great. Thanks, Patrice. That was a warm welcome. And Mary, thanks for summing it up, giving a real high overview of what I'm going to talk about next, which was great. So now I could dig into some of the meat of the presentation. So if you want to go to the next slide, I guess I was saying we do have multiple energy efficiency programs. I'm going to highlight today home energy solutions and home energy solutions income eligible, as well as our multifamily initiative. But we do have other products out there, heating, cooling, and water heating, retail products, which is when you see the Energize CT logo next to light bulbs in stores, things like that. We also have new construction, which I'll talk about a little bit at the end if we have time, because our new construction program actually is really good, especially our electric package that we're offering right now. I know a lot of you, are really interested in solar and electrification, and our new construction program does support that. So I think that's something worthwhile talking about. Small business program. So in the towns, if you do have a small business, there is a lot of incentives right now that are active for that as well. Commercial and industrial. So we have programs for heating, cooling, ventilation, LED lighting, and other efficient equipment. Okay. So if you want to skip to the next slide, I could start getting into some about the home energy solutions and home energy solutions income eligible program. Now, a lot of the slides that are going to come after this are going to be mostly focused on HES, but I don't want to, I don't want to lose sight of the home energy solutions income eligible program, because a lot of the customers that are served under that program are in the most desperate need to see energy efficiency programs work for them. And are the most distressed when it comes to energy bills. So it's really important. Mary made a very good point, and I usually would have a picture of the new application, but we did try to streamline the application for HES-IE recently, and some of the benefits is our communication across different groups. For instance, in the past, you would have to provide a lot of backup documentation. Now, if we notice that you're on a hardship program, or if you tell us that you're on a hardship program, we'll be able to automatically approve you. We're also, for Operation Fuel, if you have a fuel assistance letter, we'll also take that as backup or Section 8 voucher. So we've made a lot of progress as far as home energy solutions, income eligible programs and services, and trying to streamline the application. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about what these programs entail. So as Mary alluded to, we started to do a virtual pre-assessment towards, I want to say mid-May, one of the quickest programs I've ever seen up and coming and going out in the field. So what the virtual pre-assessment is, it's an easy way to bridge the gap between people that might not want people in their house right now due to COVID-19. So maybe they're elderly or more at risk than others. It's a great way to bridge the gap, start to understand more about your house, and also, save a little bit of energy. So education to me is one of the biggest things about the virtual pre-assessment. You're learning more about your house and how it works prior to the appointment. You're also going to find out a little bit more about what's going to happen when they come out to do the full program, the Home Energy Solutions audit. Also, at the end of that, a self-install measure package will be sent to you. So the self-install measure package is usually a few light bulbs identified by you and the technician that talks to you, as well as a smart strip. So smart strip's pretty cool. They have a control on it, and you could kind of and it acts as a way to shut the ghost phantom draw from other appliances when that main appliance is off. So it's really cool. All right. So the Home Energy Solutions program itself is an in-home direct installation weather isolation program. It's offered to help customers save energy and also live more comfortably. The Home Energy Solutions program that I'm going to talk to you in the next slides is for 1 to 4 family homes. So it's important that when you're doing a home that's 2 to 4 family, that we're working with the landlords. A good bridge gap for the landlords is actually a virtual pre-assessment. That helps them so that they could streamline the appointment and they don't have to take a whole nother day out of their time. So you could actually use the virtual pre-assessment as a way to find out what the vendors are going to do in your home and move to the next stages. All right. Currently, HES is offered at no cost. This is, thanks to the hard work of Deep and the utilities to get everything together. It used to cost between $75 to $174. 75 was a recent promotion that we had run at the end of last year and into about March of this year, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. And then finally, our HES-IE core services is also offered to customers at no cost. The benefit of HES-IE is the custom incentives for add-on measures. Generally, the custom incentives are covered at little to no cost to the customer. A lot of times installation and sometimes windows is even covered in full. And I'll let Lorenzo talk a little bit about that because he'll get into more of the specifics on the program later on in the show today. All right. So I wanted to explain, if you go to the next slide, please, I wanted to explain some of the new, well, let me talk about the core services first. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. So HES and HES-IE core services, what's included in the visit. It's a comprehensive energy audit where we will have recommendations at the end of your visit. We do blower door guided air sealing, HVAC testing, duct sealing, LED lighting upgrades, water saving measures. And then if you're a HES customer, you could also sign up for the DOE Energy Score, which is a 1 to 10 rating of your home. It's a really interesting tool that's used. It shows you where you are now and where you could be in the future if you make the improvements that we recommend. So the DOE Energy Score is pretty unique in the way that it's set up. It's also it could be the future of how you go and buy a house. Eventually, we hope to see people who are purchasing homes looking for a DOE Energy Score, because that could help provide education to the general public on what they could expect in their home and with efficiency. So the DOE Energy Score is definitely a good service to have done if you do get a HES audit. All right, next slide, please. All right, cool. So here's one of the most attractive rebates we have right now is the insulation rebate for 1 to 4 family homes. In the past, we would offer $1 a square foot for attic insulation, and we'd offer an attic and wall insulation, and then we would offer 50 cents a square foot for basement insulation. Currently, we're offering $2.20 a square foot for all areas, okay? We'll cover that at 100% of the total cost up to $10,000, whichever is less. Obviously not to exceed the $2.20. So if you come in at $2.30 a square foot, obviously there's a 10-cent differential that you'll have to cover. But up to $2.20 a square foot, we will cover the full cost as long as it doesn't exceed $10,000, which is the cap. I did put in there, we don't want to, a lot of people, sometimes even myself, like to do work themselves, and we do have a self-install installation price is 25 cents a square foot, and that's just for the typical handyman that might want to do his own work. So some of the cool things, anyone who had HES in 2020 will qualify for this rebate. If they have the appointment done in 2020, they have until March 31st to install and submit the rebate. Another thing that's unique is we're actually doing a look back, and we allow people that have had HES in the last 36 months, which is our time period. That's our time period for when you could have another new audit, to use this installation rebate. So as long as you install insulation between May 16th and December 31st and submit that rebate incentive package, you'll be able to use the rebate. So that's actually unique. Generally, it would be about a year. So if you had it in, saw that comment. I must have meant to put 2021. Sorry, guys. I will correct that and send out a revised rebate. So yeah, it's 2021. That's supposed to be in there. I apologize for that. But in between May 16th, 2020. Oh no, the installation needs to be completed by March 31st, 2021. But you need to install the installation for the past 36 months between May 16th, 2020 and December 31st, 2020. Okay, just to clarify. And let me know if if I'm a little off base on that, or if you need me to clarify it some more. All right. So the installation rebate is definitely one of our prime rebates right now that it's really attractive and a good reason to sign up for HES. If you go to the next slide, we'll talk about windows. So we have currently two paths for windows. We have a double pane window and a triple pane window. Our double pane window is certified through our HES program. The reason that we need to do it through HES, and you need HES to apply for this rebate, is because it only could replace single pane windows without storms. So it's a unique product that we would need to make sure that you qualify to install. We offer $50 a window, and it has to be an Energy Star window with a U value of 0.27 or less. The newest rebate that we have is our triple pane window. Now, our triple pane window, because of how efficient triple pane windows are, we are able to offer it to replace any type of window. So currently, we're offering $100 a window. It's a standalone rebate. So even if you don't go through HES, or if you had HES in the last 36 months, you could still use this rebate. It is a limited time offer, must be installed by December 31st, but it's a great way to start installing windows to replace maybe double pane or single pane with storms, or even some older double pane aluminum windows as well. Okay, next slide. All right, so as Mary alluded to in our last presentation, we have some really unique air source heat pumps incentives going on right now. What's up here is I talk about the ducted air source heat pumps as well as the ductless air source heat pumps. Now we offer instant discounts for the ductless and ducted air source heat pumps at the point of purchase, but it's $500 a ton. To give you some history on that, in the past, it would be $500 a unit that you would receive for a multi-zone unit. So it actually, I think, close to triples the rebate that you could see in most cases. Also, if you go through HES and you have electric heat, you're also eligible for $1,000 a ton for a ducted or ductless air source heat pump. So altogether, $1,500 a ton is a really attractive incentive. So I really encourage people to look into this program. If you do have electric heat, generally they say 30 to 40% of your bill is cut if you install ducted or ductless air source heat pumps. So it could be really useful for your electric customers in town. Also, I know a lot of condos, things like that, are using electric heat. We do have multifamily incentives, but sometimes the whole condo association won't get on board. So if you have the individual audit, you could also apply for that. Okay. Next slide. So this is the air source heat pump pilot is something that I really wanted to highlight today. This goes back to Patrice in the beginning talking about how we have a need to displace oil and propane and fossil fuels in Connecticut. Oil and propane, oil probably is the highest source of heating in Connecticut. And what we're looking at right now is a way to displace oil and propane heat, mostly during the shoulder months. So the shoulder months being, September to November and, you know, maybe March, April, I would consider the shoulder months when it's a little chilly and it's, you don't need to kick your heating system on all the way. But you could use this heat pump to displace heat or to displace that oil heat. So we have existing rebates. It is going to take, it is a little bit of a process as far as the pilot goes, because we are trying to show that it works and it does save customers money. So currently you would get $1,500 a ton if you went to install the oil or the ductless or ducted heat pump. We also are requiring that you use an integrated control. The integrated control is so that it works with the heating system. So if the heating system is, you know, if it's getting too cold, it'll kick on the oil heat as supplemental heat. If not, it'll kind of restrict that from turning on. So you just use the general heat pump. So you're not using oil and propane fuel. Also, you'll notice that we have a year later, we are going to look for some oil bills from you so we could show that there's been savings. So we're also offering $50 a home the following year just so we could get your oil bills. Knowing that it could be a hassle to grab those oil bills, we do have waivers in place where we could reach out to the oil companies for you guys and try to collect that data, because we will need it ahead of time too. So it's a maximum of 2 units and an AHRI certification, Energy Star rated system. That's just to ensure the efficiency. I know there's been a lot of talk in the past about heat pumps and how they work. The technology has really improved since then, and you know, I've only been really hearing good things about the systems that have been installed. So if anyone's interested, UI and Eversource are both offering this pilot. Next slide, please. I wanted to put a little bit about geothermal. Geothermal, I feel, has come up a little bit more recently, and we do have 2 paths for geothermal. Same thing, oil, propane, heated homes. We are offering $1,500 a ton, maximum of $10,000, and also another $750 a ton for a fuel buying program. Geothermal is really neat. I love learning more about geothermal and how it works. And you know, I'm hoping to see more geothermal heat pumps installed in the future in Connecticut. All right, next slide, please. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about multifamily initiatives. I have put a couple slides up here that go through some of the incentives. We have increased the incentives until 11/15/2020, just so that we could try to stimulate the multifamily market as well. A lot of multifamily properties are hurting right now, and this is a quick way to help save some money and also help to help improve the comfort and help the tenants show that you're making improvements in the building. Currently, for market rate for a comprehensive project, we'll pay up to 75% of the project costs, which is really good. In the past, that would only be up to 50%. Single use up to 60% of the measured cost. And also we'll do direct install dwelling unit measures, which is the same thing as our core service program for HES. So the direct install measures consist of air sealing, light bulbs, and water measures as well. So this is it's a great part or a great way to start the program. Let's put it that way, is to start with the direct install and work your proposals through the ranks. If you want to go to the next slide. So I'm not going to go into too much of this, but I wanted to show some of the incentives that we're currently offering. We've had, because of COVID-19, we had to adapt the way we were approaching multifamily buildings. So we used to do blower door guided air sealing. Currently, because of the health and safety restrictions, we're not doing that, but we are doing, in replacement of that, is doing hourly air sealing in the home. So for, you know, what we pay is $90 a man hour. They'll go in, they'll caulk windows, they'll, you know, do your plumbing penetration, install gaskets behind the light switches and outlet plates. So they'll do a lot of work while they're in there. They'll also, you know, we're also looking for them to air seal the attics and the basement. Those are key areas to always seal due to the stack effect in the building. So we are trying to adapt and trying to make efficiency important. You know, a lot of low income tenants are in multifamily 5+ buildings, And this is just another way to help them out. It helps provide comfort. It helps to there's a lot of health benefits. So it's really important that they get the air sealing and then try to get the full package, and working with building owners is a great way to do that. Next slide, on the next slide I have a little bit, and I had offered to send these slides out. So I'm not going to go into detail on this. This is just some of the incentives that we're offering right now on HVAC controls, domestic hot water. So we are covering all the ranks, and we will provide a custom incentive up to the incentive amounts that I had spoke about earlier in the presentation. All right, next slide, please. All right, just a quick one on 1 to 4 family homes. This is typical. These are the typical financing packages that we have. The HES payment plan microloan and Smart-E. We actually, the great thing about those is actually it used to be $1,000 base. Now it's down to $500, which is good because one, it could help some moderate income folks that have a smaller copay actually apply and get approved for the loan if they could. And it's going to help bridge the gap on certain things. So there's a couple different ways you could apply. We have Capital for Change. We have the Energize CT site that you could also go to for Smart-E loans, and as well as the Green Bank. So those are all financing places where you could finance for some of these additional measures if needed, maybe heating systems, things like that. Heat pump. One thing to mention, there is a special going on right now for heat pumps. I don't have a slide directly on it, but there's the link in the comment chat to link you to the Green Bank, and there's the special heat pump financing that you should look into if you're interested in heat pumps. Next slide, please. And so I didn't have too much on the multifamily financing. The Green Bank does offer some programs that you could utilize. Pre-development loan is pretty cool. Build loan, I think you have to pay 25% up front, and then the loan 75% of the project. It's an unforgivable loan as well, so, and it's, I think, unsecured. Then there's the Lime loan, the loans improving multifamily efficiency. The C-PACE loan, not to be confused with PACE itself, and that's hosting this webinar. And Energize CT health and safety loan, and then finally a solar power purchase agreement. So there's great financing opportunities out there. But that, and I believe that's the last slide in my slide deck. But I just want to encourage everyone to talk to their communities, talk to the people that are around there. There's a huge push for looking into improving the efficiency for low to moderate income. We need to try to attack the 2 to 4 family houses. That seems to be one of the areas that we need to try to increase participation in. And it's extremely important that we work with these landlords and owners to help improve the efficiency and reduce customers' electric and fuel bills. So when I send out, I will revise some of the slides. There was a couple of errors on there, and I'll send it back to Patrice so she can send out. I'll also add another slide with my contact information. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, please do. I do work UI, SDG, CNG. CNG is part at Eversource, and if you have trouble contacting or need a resource at Eversource, I'd be more than happy to help you and point you in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Larry. I see a lot of questions in the chat, and we were going to hear next from Kenny Foscue from North Haven, but he's outside with the chainsaw cutting his way out of his neighborhood. So maybe, Bernie, if you're ready, maybe we could have a Q&A now instead of, want to do that?
Thank you, Patrice. Especially, I was going to ask you that, especially since Larry might get given a chainsaw and pulled away.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Two specific questions, and forgive me if they were on the slide and we didn't see them, but one, any incentives for energy recovery ventilation systems? And
currently, there's nothing. Oh, okay, sorry.
No, that's so that nothing on the residential side currently. The comment.
There's nothing on it for. Yeah, no, not currently, nothing for ERVs.
And how about battery backup?
So there are some battery storage programs that are offered. Battery storage is really, it's not really the residential efficiency group. It's managed outside of that in my group. I know that Eversource, that's more of our demand control side. So we do have information, and I'd be happy to try to share that information with the group. It's not my expertise, but I could look into it and send out stuff to you guys.
That would be
on
great.
Battery storage.
Just a point, case in point, there's one lady who's with us from Brantford, and the only reason she's here with us is because she has a Tesla Powerwall and a solar system, because the rest of Brantford is out.
I did see that. That was pretty interesting. I saw that in the comments. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Kind of a really important question that came in kind of late. Any of these slides available in Spanish?
I do not have them in Spanish, but I could see if I could have some translated. I know we have materials in Spanish, but I would need to, I personally I can't write or speak Spanish fluently, so I would be, but I could see if I could get you some education pieces on it, or see if someone could help me translate that.
Okay, so I'll just say not now, but the slides will go out, and if the person needs help one way or the other, we can get them translated. Any, to your knowledge, any refinance? So if you have bought with a loan a solar system, can you refinance that at lower rates? Any refinancing project?
I wouldn't be able to talk to you about solar financing. It's definitely outside of my wheelhouse. I'm more building science, efficiency, things like that.
Great. Okay. This is just a ballpark type of question. If we were to pick a house, say a 2,000 square foot house, and talk about a heat pump installation with these new incentives, ballpark, what would the sort of the net homeowner cost be? I know that's kind of a rough question because there's.
Yeah. So from my experience, every home's unique, and everyone has a different setup, right? But it really depends on what the tonnage, what size. It's really important that when you're looking at a heat pump system that you're having it accurately sized, so that way you don't, it's not overrunning, you're saving money by having it sized properly. And so that's really important. It also depends on the layout of the house. You have ductless, you have ducted. So sometimes I've even seen ducted maybe recommended for like the top floor and ductless on the bottom floor. So, it could range, varies in price. I mean, I've seen prices as low as, $4,000 for maybe a single system, and all the way up to, the $20,000, even more sometimes. It really depends on the size, the house, and the HVAC contractor you're picking as well, right? Because everyone has different pricing. So I would just encourage everyone to always be a smart consumer. Make sure that you're, getting a few quotes, make sure you're checking into the company, use your online review systems, so that way you go with someone that, is going to give you the best bang for your buck. Excellent. Don't go with the lowest price. It's not always the best bang for your buck.
And sort of two questions right on the heels of what you just said. Is there a list on the Energize CT site of recommended installers?
Yes, there is. And I believe there was a link earlier in the presentation in the chat box to that. So you could look up a contractor, a recommended contractor to use for these services.
Great. Very good. And do you see if someone is called low middle income, do you find that heat pumps would be a good, and they heat with oil? So let's say they're a customer of Operation Fuel. Do you think it would be a good move for them to switch over to heat pumps? Have you seen any of that in your travels?
So that's what we're piloting right now, and that's what we're trying to figure out, right? So that's the whole point of our heat pump pilot, is to see how much it actually saves. Now, oil prices have fluctuated with the market in COVID-19, but it really depends on where we're going with the heat pumps and the oil heat. So until we could successfully go through this pilot and see how it works, I couldn't give you a direct answer on that. But I'm hopeful that we start receiving applications after this meeting and call, once people on the line start signing up for HES.
Great. I think in the interest of time, the chat box is active, and Larry, I can see that you've been reviewing it. You're one of these ambidextrous people that can do two things at once. So in the interest of time, maybe I'll just turn it back over